Good evening, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. I'm your host, Irtindala Inhamoklan. For our top stories, President Khurelsukh delivers a speech on climate action for mountain regions at the Baku summit. Conservators play a significant role in preserving and promoting the country's cultural heritage. A skills training session for mothers who stay at home to care for their children was organized for the third time in Tuv Province. For other news, stay tuned. On November 13, 2024, at the World Leaders Climate Action Summit in Baku, Azerbaijan, Mongolia and the Kyrgyz Republic co-organized a high-level dialogue titled Advancing the Mountain Agenda, Mainstreaming Mountains and Climate Change within the UNFCCC.
The event brought together President Khurelsukh of Mongolia, President Sadir Japarov of the Kyrgyz Republic, President Ramchandra Podel of Nepal, and Azerbaijan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ceyhun Bayramov. President Khurelsukh of Mongolia delivered the opening address highlighting the significance of climate action for mountainous regions.
Mongolia appreciates the support from mountain partnership stakeholders for prioritizing mountain ecosystems, which are vital for the region's remarkable landscapes, biodiversity, and beneficial climate. Spanning vast areas across numerous countries, major mountain ranges like the Himalayas, Alps, Andes, Rockies, Caucasus, Tian Shan, and Altai are critical habitats for rare animals and plant species, sources of countless rivers, and foundations for human well-being. Covering a quarter of the Earth's surface, mountain ecosystems are threatened by extreme weather, deforestation, land degradation, and climate-related natural disasters, with permafrost, glaciers, and distinct alpine environments quickly diminishing. As a result, high-altitude animal and plant habitats are experiencing major shifts, shrinking ranges, and increased migration, displacement, or even extinction risks. Furthermore, the rising occurrence of natural disasters, including floods, snowstorms, and landslides, presents serious challenges for mountain communities.
Within the 1 billion tree campaign, the budget for this initiative is increasing. Among developing countries, Mongolia is one of a few countries that are increasing its expenses dedicated to reducing climate change. The invitation to the World Leaders Climate Action Summit in the Republic of Azerbaijan during COP29 signifies the importance of world leaders to engage and enhance ambition and enable action to reduce emissions, adapt to climate change, address loss and damage, implement and transform key climate-related decisions into concrete actions and credible plans to tackle climate change.
With Mongolia facing a shortage of professional conservators and restorers, the country's cultural heritage preservation efforts are under strain. Experts stress the urgent need for specialized skill in handling complex artifacts.
Our museum currently employs conservators who specialize in preserving simple artifacts, such as textiles, metals, and wooden archaeological items. However, we face a significant gap in expertise when it comes to the restoration of more complex items, such as paintings, sculptures, and stone carvings. When these types of artifacts come into our care, we encounter many challenges because we do not have the expertise and specialists needed to handle those challenges. To address this issue, we have sought the assistance of the National Center for Cultural Heritage. Unfortunately, they too are facing a shortage of expertise and specialists in these fields. This often leads to delays, and in some cases, certain artifacts are not restored within a timely manner. To resolve this issue, on a policy level, it is essential that Mongolia invest in training and developing specialists in these critical areas of cultural heritage preservation.
A training session was organized for the third time in Tuv Province, specifically for mothers who stay at home to care for their children. By participating in this skill development training, mothers now have the opportunity to earn an income while also looking after their children. In this session, the mothers were taught various techniques for making cakes and pastries.
This year, Tuv Province has declared its focus will be on promoting youth leadership and family development. In line with this, the Department of Child and Family Development and Protection of Tuv Province, in collaboration with the Mongolian Women's Association, is organizing a variety of training sessions for mothers who stay at home to care for their children. This time, Nasalma, an instructor from a polytechnic college, trained the mothers in cake and pastry making techniques. In the past, we have organized various public-focused training sessions for a large audience, but this year we are focusing specifically on life skills training. Rather than aiming to involve a large number of people, we have worked to provide high-quality training for a targeted group. The first training session was on knitting, which saw 10 women participate. The next session was about crocheting shoes, with 12 women joining. This time, 15 women participated in a cake-making training session. Although the number of participants is small, the training sessions are designed to impart valuable life skills, with the potential for these women to expand what they learned and turn it into their businesses in the future. This is my first time attending such a training session. I saw the advertisement and decided to join because I want to learn how to make delicious cakes and pastries for my child. Mothers highlighted that making treats for their children by hand instead of buying ready-made products from the store is healthier, safer, and probably cheaper. They also see the potential to use this skill to start small-scale home businesses. In total, over 20 mothers participated in the training sessions.
You're watching News Mongolia. Let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
On November 11, 2024, Mongolia's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador in Akhbayr, made a speech at the Fourth Committee during the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. He highlighted Mongolia's ongoing efforts to address international and regional security challenges through peaceful means. Representative Akhbayr also noted that Mongolia has contributed more than 22,000 peacekeepers to United Nations operations over the past 22 years, making a significant impact in areas of conflict and instability across the globe. He underscored that Mongolia takes pride in its contributions towards global peace, fulfilling its international obligations with honor in some of the world's most challenging conflict zones, and stated his position in addressing the strengthening of the United Nations peacekeeping capabilities to better respond to evolving global challenges.
Now let's turn our attention to currency exchange rates provided by the Mongol Bank. Now let's shift our attention to foreign news provided by our international partner news agencies. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken vowed to support Ukraine into a strong possible position by the end of 2024 as he met with his counterpart Andriy Sybiha on Wednesday. Blinken said he wanted to ensure Kyiv had access to the money and weapons it needed to defend against the ongoing Russian invasion with the Biden administration in its final months.
We had a very good morning at NATO.
Sybiha said it was a critical moment for Ukraine and its defense could not be put on hold, while saying Kyiv was in contact with both the outgoing government and President-elect Donald Trump's team.
everyone is focused on making sure that Ukraine has what it needs to continue to deal with the ongoing Russian aggression and to put itself in the strongest possible position this year and into next year, making sure that the money, the munitions, the mobilized forces are there to deal with the aggression and to put Ukraine in a position of strength. And I heard around the NATO table, again, a determined commitment for the countries, the alliance, to continue and indeed strengthen its support for Ukraine.
And this night there was another massive attack on our capital, Kyiv, and other cities and communities. One more sleepless night for our children, 96 drones and missiles, including ballistic ones. Russians once again targeted innocent people, children, entire families, while they slept peacefully in their homes. Russians commit war crimes and attack civilian people and infrastructure every night and day. We must stop the aggressor with the strength of weapons, sanctions, and diplomacy. This moment is critical. This war is not only about Ukraine. The future of transatlantic and global security is being decided in Ukraine, and Russia is using Iranian drones, as you said, and North Korean troops to attack Ukraine. It provides assistance to those regimes in return. This is how this war undermines security in Southeast Asia and the Middle East.
The almost 3-year war has shown no signs of winding down. Russia attacked the Ukrainian capital Kyiv with a sophisticated combination of missiles and drones for the first time in 73 days on Wednesday. That came a day after the Pentagon said most of the North Korean troops sent to help Moscow's war effort are fighting to drive Ukraine's army off Russian soil in the Kursk border region.
We need to speed up all
As Donald Trump's victory became apparent in last week's U.S. elections, Jewish West Bank settlement advocates popped bottles of champagne and danced to the Bee Gees at a winery in the heart of the occupied territory, according to a post on Instagram.
The winery said it was rolling out a special edition rate named for the president-elect. Settlement supporters believe they have plenty of reasons to celebrate. Not only did the expansion of housing for Jews in the West Bank soar past previous records during Trump's first term, but his administration took unprecedented steps to support Israel's territorial claims, including recognizing Jerusalem as its capital and moving the U.S. embassy there, and recognizing Israel's annexation of the Golan Heights. This time around, as Israel is embroiled in a multi-front war, settlement advocates believe Trump's history of fervent support could translate into their supreme goal, Israeli annexation of the West Bank, a move that critics say would smother any remaining hopes for Palestinian statehood. Some are even gunning for resettling Gaza under a Trump administration.
When I saw that he won the election, for us it's a big hope. What is hope? It's not only for me. What I believe, it's for everyone here. Because till today we didn't take a decision what will be here. And I think the Biden administration didn't respect the policy of the Israeli government. And I know and I hope that Trump will support the Israeli government. And we, as a state, we have to take a decision. And I'm sure that with Trump, President Trump, it will be much easier because he supports the state of Israel in our eyes, but we will take a decision, and we are a democrat state. So I think it will be much better.
The Western-backed Palestinian Authority administers semi-autonomous parts of the West Bank that are home to most of the Palestinian population. During his first term as a president, Trump abandoned decades-long U.S. opposition to the settlements. He proposed a Mideast plan that would have allowed Israel to keep them all. His ambassador to Israel was a staunch settlement advocate and opponent of Palestinian statehood. But Trump also took steps that are keeping some settler proponents cautious. His Mideast plan did leave room for Palestinian state, even if critics say it was an unrealistic vision for one. And the Trump brokered normalization agreements between Israel and Arab countries held the country back from annexing the West Bank.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.